So, Katilin, will you show us what it means to mend the Proteknet?
Yeah, so when there is a hole that is big enough for an insect to get through, the whole purpose of the Protek is to exclude pests. So typically we look for holes that are big enough to let a small insect through, and then we use fishing line to try and close up that hole without causing wrinkling or damage to the net. So we just make it's relatively flat once it's laid out.
Okay.
Even though it kind of looks like a knot here.
And are those holes usually big or small?
Yeah, there's definitely a range of sizes. This is one of the smallest ones. I say if it was much smaller than this, we probably wouldn't bother with it, but I've mended holes a little smaller than this to holes that were absolutely torn, like you could put your foot through it. Mm-hmm. So there's a large range of sizes. Typically they're about probably the size of a quarter or a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Usually they result from weeds growing up through the Proteknet, and then once somebody tries to pull the weed out, it's clearly already grown through the fabric. Mm-hmm. So it kind of just whittles a hole in the net over time, and then once you pull it out, there's a hole that remains. So they're typically about this big, but
okay,
relatively easy fix.
And are they usually found like at the edges or at the center of the net?
I would say most of them are probably found on the edges, but on the lengthway edges, because that's where it connects to the ground the most part. But there are holes throughout, and that's kind of the most difficult part, is finding them, because they don't have red flashing lights saying that there's a hole here that needs to be mended. So a lot of the time spent actually mending the net is looking for the holes.
And now that you mention it, how long does it take you to mend a full net?
Well, it depends on the size of the net. We have, I think, two different sizes. One is slightly larger than the other one, but if I sit down and do the net all in one run, like on a weekend or something, the smaller nets take me anywhere from 4 to 6.5 hours, and then the big ones typically take about 7 or 7.5. So it's definitely a time you really got to plan to sit down and do it the whole weekend. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.